Hey guys. Okay, so I know we've been reading Wonder and we're having to start kind of in a different way. So both classes are in different points, so I'm just going to start the Jack portion over again and just go from there. So the videos are going to be in different parts. So we're going to read all of Jack today, and then every time I'll just upload different areas. So if you have your book, we're on Jack page 133, part 4. So, right here, okay? If you're wondering, I am sitting in my room. I got a painting behind me that Cecilia did, and I might not be here next time, so we'll just move around the house, okay? And if you have any questions, you can always email me, barcher@mcpss.com. You can get me on Remind, or there's a way to message me through Google Classroom, okay? I love you guys, and I miss you. Here we go, Jack, part 4. Now here's my secret. It's very simple. It is only one's heart that can be seen clearly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And that is a quote from The Little Prince. The call. So in August, my parents got this call from Mr. Tushman, the middle school director. And my mom said, maybe he calls all the new students to welcome them. My dad said, that's a lot of kids he'd be calling. So my mom called him back, and I could hear her talking to Mr. Tushman on the phone. This is exactly what she said. Oh, hi, Mr. Tushman. This is Amanda Will, returning your call. Pause. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. He's looking forward to it. Pause. Yes. Pause. Yeah. Pause. Oh, sure to say. Yes. Oh, wow. Super long pause. Oh, I see, of course. Well, I'm sure he will. Let me write it down. Okay, I got it. I'll call you after I've had a chance to talk to him. Okay. Pause. Oh, no, thank you for thinking of him. Bye-bye. And when she hung up, I was like, what's up? What'd he say? And Mom said, well, it's actually very flattering, but kind of sad too. See, there's this boy who's starting middle school this year, and he's never been to a real school environment before because he was homeschooled. So Mr. Tushman talked to some of the lower school teachers to find out who they thought would be some really, really great kids coming into 5th grade. And the teachers must have told him that you were an especially nice kid, which of course I already knew. And so Mr. Tushman was wondering if he could count on you to sort of help shepherd the new little boy around a little bit. Like, hang out with me? I said. Exactly, said Mom. He called it being a welcome buddy. But why me? I told you, your teachers told Mr. Tushman that you were the kind of kid known for being a good egg. I mean, I'm so proud that they think so highly of you. Why is it sad? What do you mean? You said it was flattering, but kind of sad too. Oh, Mom nodded. Well, apparently this boy has some sort of, I guess there's something wrong with his face, or something like that. Not sure. Maybe he was in an accident. Mr. Tushman said he'd explain a little bit more when you come to see him at school next week. School doesn't start till September. Yes, but he wants you to meet this kid before school starts. Do I have to? Mom looked a bit surprised. Well, no, of course not, she said. But it would be the nice thing for you to do, Jack. If I don't have to do it, I said, I don't want to do it. Can you at least think about it? I'm thinking about it, and I don't want to do it. Well, I'm not going to force you, she said, but at least think about it some more, okay? I'm not calling Mr. Tushman back until tomorrow, so just sit on it a little bit. I mean, Jack, I really don't think it's much to ask of you to spend a little extra time with some new kid. It's not just that he's a new kid, Mom. He's deformed. That's a terrible thing for you to say, Jack. He is, Mom. You don't even know who it is. Yeah, I do, I said, because I knew the second she started to talk about him that it was a kid named August. I'd seen him before for the first time in front of the carnival on Amshort Avenue when I was about 5 or 6. Me and Veronica, my babysitter, were sitting on the bench outside the store with Jamie, my baby brother, who was sitting in his stroller facing us. I guess I'd been busy eating my ice cream cone because I didn't even notice that the people sat down next to us. Then, at one point, I turned my head to suck the end of the ice cream out of the bottom of my cone, and that's when I saw him. August. He was sitting right next to me. I know it wasn't cool, but I kind of went, ugh, when I saw him because I honestly got scared. I thought he was wearing a zombie mask or something. It was kind of a, ugh, you say when you're watching a scary movie and the bad guy jumps out of the bushes. Anyway, I know it wasn't nice of me to do. I thought the kid didn't hear me. I know his sister did. Jack, we have to go, said Veronica. She had gotten up and was turning the stroller around because Jamie, who had obviously just noticed the kid too, was about to say something embarrassing. So I jumped up all of a sudden, like a bee had landed on me, and followed Veronica as she zoomed away. I could hear the kid's mom saying softly behind us, "Okay, guys, I think it's time to go." And I turned around to look at them one more time. The kid was licking his ice cream cone, and the mom was picking up his scooter, and the sister was glaring at me like she was going to kill me. I looked away quickly. "Veronica, what's wrong with that kid?" I whispered. "Hush, boy," she said in a very angry voice. I loved Veronica, but when she got mad, she got mad. Meanwhile, Jamie was practically spilling out of his stroller trying to take another look as Veronica pushed him away. "But Veronica," said Jamie, "you boys were very naughty, said Veronica, as soon as we were further down the block, staring like that. "Didn't mean to," I said. "Veronica," said Jamie. "Us leaving like that," Veronica was muttering. "Oh, Lord, that poor lady. I tell you, boys, every day you should be thank the Lord for your blessings. Do you hear me?" "Veronica, what is it, Jamie? Is it Halloween?" "No, Jamie." "Then why was that boy wearing a mask?" Veronica didn't answer. Sometimes when she's mad about something, she would do that. "He wasn't wearing a mask," I explained to Jamie. "Hush, Jack," said Veronica. "Why are you so mad, Veronica?" I couldn't help asking. I thought this would make her angrier, but actually she just shook her head. "It was bad what we did," she said, "just getting up like that, like we'd seen the devil." I was scared what Jamie was going to say, you know. I didn't want him to say something bad that would hurt the little boy's feelings, but it was very bad of us to leave like that. The mom knew what was going on. "But we didn't mean it," I answered. "Jack, sometimes you don't have to be mean to hurt someone. You understand?" That was the first time I ever saw August in the neighborhood, at least that I remember. But I've seen him around ever since then. A couple of times on the playground, a few times in the park. He used to wear an astronaut helmet sometimes, but I always knew it was him underneath the helmet. All the kids in the neighborhood knew him. Everyone had seen August at some point or another. We all knew his name, though he didn't know ours. And whenever I've seen him, I tried to remember what Veronica said. It's hard. It's hard not to sneak a second look. It's hard to act normal when you see him. "Who else did Tushman call?" I asked. I asked Mom later that night. "Did he tell you?" "He mentioned Julian and Charlotte." "Julian?" I said. "Ugh, why Julian?" "You used to be friends with Julian." "Mom, that was like in kindergarten. Julian's the biggest phony there is, and he's trying so hard to be popular all the time." "Well," said Mom, "at least Julian agreed to help this kid out. You gotta give him credit for that." I didn't say anything because she was right. "What about Charlotte?" I asked. "Is she doing it too?" "Yes," Mother said. "Of course she is. Charlotte's a goody two-shoes," I answered. "Boy, Jack," said Mom, "you seem to have a problem with everyone these days." "It's just, Mom, you have no idea what this kid looks like." "I can imagine." "No, you can't. I've seen him. I have. It might not be who you think it is. Trust me. And I tell you, it's real bad. He's deformed, Mom. His eyes are like down here, pointing to my cheeks. And he has no ears, and his mouth is like... Jamie had walked into the kitchen to get a juice box from the fridge. That's Jamie. Right, Jamie? Remember that kid who we saw at the park last year? That kid named August, the one with the face. Ooh, that kid, said Jamie, and his eyes opened wide. He gave me a nightmare. Remember, Mommy? That nightmare I had about zombies last year? I thought you had watched a scary movie or something. No, said Jamie. It was from seeing that kid. When I saw him, I was like, ah, and I ran away. Wait a minute, said Mom, getting very serious. Did you do that in front of him? I couldn't help it, said Jamie, kind of whining. Of course you could have helped it, said Mom, scolding. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed by the way that you were acting. I mean, honestly, he's just a little boy like you. Can you imagine how he felt to see you running from him, Jamie? Screaming? It wasn't a scream, said Jamie. It was like a, ah. And he put his hands on his cheeks and started running around the kitchen. Come on, Jamie, said Mom. I honestly thought both of my boys were more sympathetic than that. What's sympathetic? Said Jamie. He was only going into 2nd grade. You know exactly what I mean by sympathetic, Jamie, said Mom. It's just he's so ugly, Mommy, said Jamie. Hey, Mom yelled. I don't like that word, Jamie. Just get your juice box and get out. I want to talk to Jack alone. Look, Jack, said Mom as soon as he left, and I knew what she was about to give me a speech. Okay, I'll do it, I said, which completely shocked her. You will? Yes. So I can call Mr. Tishman? Yes, Mom. Yes. I said yes. Mom smiled. I knew you'd rise to the occasion, kiddo. Good for you. I'm proud of you, Jackie. She messed up my hair. So here's why I changed my mind. It wasn't so I wouldn't have to hear Mom give me the whole lecture. And it wasn't to protect this kid from Julian, who I knew would be a jerk about the whole thing. It was because when I heard Jamie talk about how he had run from August going, I felt really bad. The thing is, there's always going to be a kid like Julian who are jerks. But if a little kid like Jamie, who's usually a nice kid, can be mean, and a kid like August, well, he doesn't stand a chance in middle school. First of all, you do get used to his face. The first couple of times I was like, whoa, I'm never going to get used to it. And then, after about a week, I was like, it's not so bad. Second of all, he's actually a really cool dude. I mean, he's pretty funny. Like, the teacher will say something, and August will whisper something funny to me, like no one else can hear. It'll totally crack me up. He's also just overall a nice kid. Like, he's easy to hang out with and talk to and stuff. Third of all, he's really smart. I thought he'd be behind because he'd never gone to school before, but he's mostly ahead of me. I mean, maybe not smart as like Charlotte or Zima, but he's up there. And unlike Charlotte or Zima, he lets me cheat off him if I really need to. Though I've only done it a couple of times. He also lets me copy his homework once, though we both got in trouble after class. The two of you got the exact same answers wrong on yesterday's homework, Miss Rubin said, looking at both of us like she was waiting for an explanation. I didn't know what to say because the explanation would have been, oh, that's because I copied August's homework. But August lied to protect me. He was like, oh, that's because we did our homework together last night, which wasn't true at all. Well, doing homework together is a good thing, Miss Rubin answered, but you're supposed to still do it separately, okay? You can work side by side if you want, but you can't actually do your homework together, okay? Got it? After we left school, I was like, dude, thanks for doing that. And he was like, no problem. That was cool. Fourthly, now that I know him, I would say I actually do want to be friends with August. At first, I admit it, I was only friendly to him because Mr. Tishman asked me to be especially nice to him and all. But now I would choose to hang out with him. He laughs at all my jokes, and I kind of feel like I can tell August anything. Like, he's a good friend. Like, if all the guys in 5th grade were lined up against the wall, and I got to choose anyone I wanted to hang out with, I would choose August. Bleeding scream. What the heck? Summer Dawson had always been a little bit out there, but this was too much. All I did was ask her why August was acting the way mad at me or something, and she figured I would know. All she had to say was bleeding scream. I don't even know what that means. It's so weird because one day me and August were friends, and the next day, whoosh, he was hardly talking to me. And I haven't the slightest idea why. When I had to say to him, "Hey August, you mad at me or something?" he shrugs and walks away. So I would say that's a definite yes. And since I know for a fact that I didn't do anything to make him mad about, I figured Summer could tell me what's up. But all I got from her was bleeding scream. Yeah, big help. Thanks, Summer. You know, I got plenty of other friends in school. So if August wants to officially be my ex-friend, then fine, it's okay. Bye, B. See if I care. I started ignoring him like he's ignoring me in school now. This is actually kind of hard since we sit next to each other in practically every class. Other kids have noticed and started asking me if we are having a fight. Nobody asks August what's going on. Hardly anyone talks to him anyway. I mean, the only person he hangs out with, other than me, is Summer. Sometimes he hangs out with Reed Kinsley a little bit, and the two Maxes got him playing Dungeons and Dragons a couple of times at recess. Charlotte, for all her goody two-shoeing, doesn't ever do more than nod hello when she passes him in the hallway. And I don't know if anyone's still playing the Plague behind his back, because no one ever told me about it directly. But my point is that he's not got a whole other lot of friends that he can hang out with, besides me. If he wants to diss me, he's the one who loses, not me. So this is how things are between us now. We only talk to each other about school stuff. If he absolutely has to, like I'll say, "What'd Ruben say the homework was?" and he'll answer. Or he'll be like, "Can I use your pencil sharpener?" And I'll get my pencil sharpener out of my pencil case. But as soon as the bell rings, we go our separate ways. Why is this good? Because I get to hang out with more kids now. Before, I was only hanging out with August all the time. Kids weren't hanging out with me because I hung out with August. Or they kept things from me, like the whole Plague thing. I think it was the only one who wasn't in on it, except for Summer, and maybe the D&D crowd. D&D's, Dungeons and Dragons. And the truth is, though no one's that obvious about it, nobody wants to hang out with him. Everyone's way too hung up in being in the popular group. He's just about as far from popular as you can get. But now I can hang out with anyone I want. If I wanted to be in the popular group, I could totally be in the popular group. Why is this bad? Well, A, I don't actually enjoy hanging out with the popular group that much. And B, I actually like hanging out with August. And this is kind of messed up. And it's all August's fault. The first snow of the winter hit right before Thanksgiving break. School was closed. And so we got an extra day of vacation. I'm glad about it. I was kind of bummed out the whole August thing, and I just wanted some time to chill without having to see him every day. Also, waking up to snow is just about my favorite thing in the world. I love that feeling when you first open your eyes in the morning and you don't even know why, but everything seems different than usual. Then it hits you. Everything's quiet. No cars are honking. No buses are going down the street. Then you run over to the window and outside everything is covered in white. The sidewalks, the trees, the cars on the street, your window panes. And then it happens on a school day and you find out the school is closed. Well, I don't care how old I get. I am always going to think that's the best feeling in the world. And I'm never going to be one of those grown-ups that uses an umbrella when it snows. Ever. Dad's school was closed too. So he took me and Jamie sledding down Skeleton Hill in the park. They say a little kid broke his neck on a sled sliding down the hill a few years ago. I don't know if it's true, but it's one of those legends. On the way home, I spotted a banged up wooden sled that kind of propped up against an old Indian rock monument. Dad said to leave it, that it was garbage. But something told me it would make the greatest sled ever. So Dad let me drag it home, and I spent the rest of the day fixing it up. I super glued the broken slats together and wrapped up some heavy-duty white tape around it for extra strength. Then I spray painted the whole thing white with the paint I had gotten from the alabaster sphinx I was making for the Egyptian museum project. When it was all dry, I painted lightning in gold letters down the middle piece of wood and made a lightning bolt symbol above the letters. It looked pretty professional, I have to say. Dad was like, "Wow, Jackie, you were right about that sled." The next day, I went back to Skeleton Hill with Lightning. It was the fastest thing I'd ever ridden. So much faster than the plastic sleds we had been using. Usually a plastic sled is shaped like an oval, like a bowl, and so you sit in it like inside the bowl, and then you go down it. And so a sled with slats looks kind of like those sleds you see on like postcards or on like on the movies. And so it has little like metal slats that you get on, and then you can slide down and they go faster. The next day we went back to Skeleton Hill with Lightning. It was much faster. It was the fastest thing I'd ever ridden. So much faster than plastic sleds we'd been using. And because I had gotten warm outside, the snow became crunchier and wetter. And it was good packing snow. Me and Jamie took turns on Lightning all afternoon. We were in the park until our fingers were frozen and her lips had turned a little blue. Dad practically had to drag us home. By the end of the weekend, the snow had started turning yellow and gray, and the rainstorm turned most of the snow slush. When we got back to school on Monday, there was no snow left. It was rainy and yucky the first day back from vacation. A slushy day. That's how I felt inside, too. I nodded hey to August the first time I saw him. We were in front of the lockers. He nodded hi back. I wanted to tell him about Lightning, but I didn't. Mr. Brown's December precept was, "Fortune favors the bold." We were supposed to write a paragraph about some time in our lives when we did something very brave and how because of it something good happened to us. Thought about it a lot, to be truthful. I have something to say about it. I think the bravest thing I ever did was become friends with August. But I couldn't write about that, of course. I was afraid I'd have to read about... I lost my place. But I couldn't write about that, of course. I was afraid I'd have to read it out loud, or Mr. Brown would put them in the hallway bulletin board like he sometimes does. So instead, I wrote this lame thing about how I used to be afraid of the ocean when I was little. It was dumb, but I couldn't think of anything else. I wonder what August wrote about. He probably had lots of things to choose from. My parents aren't rich. I have to say this because people sometimes think that everyone who goes to a private school is rich. But it's not true with us. So the school that August and Jack and Julia, all that they're going to, is a private school that costs a lot of money to go to. And we work in a public school, so the school that we go to is a public school where everyone goes. Dad is a teacher and Mom is a social worker, which means that they don't have those kind of jobs where people make gazillions of dollars. We used to have a car, but we sold it when Jamie started kindergarten at Beecher Prep. Remember, they live in New York, so a lot of people don't have cars because they have public transportation. We don't live in a big townhouse or in one of those doorman buildings along the park. We live at the top of a 5-story walk-up we rent from an old lady named Donna Petra. So a walk-up is an apartment building that doesn't have an elevator, so you walk up 5 flights of stairs. So if they live on the 5th floor, they're walking up 5 flights of stairs to get to their apartment. All the way on the other side of Broadway. That's code for the section of the North River Heights where people don't want to park their cars. Me and Jamie share a room. I ever heard my parents talk about things like, can we do without air conditioning 1 more year? Or maybe I can work 2 jobs this summer. So today at recess, when I was hanging out with Julian and Henry and Miles, Julian, who everyone knows is rich, was like, I hate that I have to go back to Paris this Christmas. It's so boring. Dude, but it's like Paris, I said like an idiot. Believe me, it's just so boring, he said. My grandmother lives in this house in the middle of nowhere, and it's like an hour away from Paris, and it's in this tiny, tiny little village. I swear to God, nothing happens there. I mean, it's like, ooh, wow, there's another fly on the wall. Look, there's a new dog sleeping on the sidewalk. Yippee. I laugh. Sometimes Julia can be very funny. Though my parents are talking about throwing a big New Year's Eve party instead of going to Paris. I hope so. What are you doing over the break, Julian? Just hanging out, I said. You're so lucky. I hope it snows again. I got this new sled that's so amazing. I was about to tell them about lightning, but Miles started talking first. Oh, I got a new sled too. My dad got it from the Hammacher Schlammers. It's state-of-the-art. How can a sled be state-of-the-art, said Julian. It was like $800 or something. Whoa. We should all go sledding and have a race down Skeleton Hill, I said. That hill is so lame, said Julian. Are you kidding? I said. Some kid broke his neck there. That's why it's called Skeleton Hill. Julian narrowed his eyes and looked at me like I was the biggest moron in the world. It's called Skeleton Hill because it's an ancient Indian burial ground. Duh. Anyway, it should be called Garbage Hill. It's so freaking junky. Last time I was there, it was so gross, like soda cans and broken bottles and stuff. He shook his head. Yeah, I left my old sled there, said Miles. It was the crappiest piece of junk. Somebody even took it, too. Maybe a hobo wanted your sled, laughed Julian. Where did you leave it? I said. By this big rock at the bottom of the hill, and when I went back the next day, it was gone. I couldn't believe somebody actually took it. Here's what we can do, said Julian. Next time it snows, my dad could drive us to the golf course in Winchester that makes Skeleton Hill look like nothing. Hey, Jack, where are you going? I started to walk away. I got to get a book out of my locker, I lied. I just wanted to get away fast because I didn't want anyone to know that I was the hobo that had taken the sled. I'm not the greatest student in the world, and I know some kids actually like school, but I honestly can't say that I do. I like some parts of school, like PE and computer class, and recess and lunch, but all in all, I'd be fine without school. And the thing I hate the most about school is all the homework we get. It's not enough that we have to sit through class after class and try to stay awake, but they fill our heads with the stuff that we'll probably never use, like how to figure out the surface area of a cube or the difference between kinetic and potential energy. I'm like, who cares? I've never, ever heard my parents say the word kinetic in my entire life. I hate science the most. We get in so much work, and it's not even funny. And my teacher, Miss Rubin, is so strict about everything, even the way we write our headings on top of our paper. I once got 2 points off my homework assignment because I didn't put the date on top. Crazy stuff. When me and August were still friends, I was doing okay in science because August sat next to me and he'd always let me copy his notes. August has the neatest handwriting of anyone I've ever seen who's a boy. Even his script is neat. Up and down, perfect, those little round loopy letters. Script is cursive. But now that we're ex-friends, it's bad because I can't ask him to copy his notes anymore. So I was kind of scrambling today, trying to take notes about what Mrs. Rubin was saying. My handwriting is awful. When all of a sudden she started talking about the 5th grade science fair project. How we have to choose a science project to work on. While she was saying this, I was thinking about how we had just finished the freaking Egyptian project and now we were starting a whole new thing. And then in my head I was going, oh no, like this kid from Home Alone with his mouth open. And my face was I was making that face on the inside. And then I thought of those pictures of the melting ghost faces and their mouths hanging open, and then all of a sudden this picture flew into my head, this memory, and I knew what Summer meant by bleeding scream. It's so weird how all of these things can come into a flash. Someone in homeroom had dressed up as Bleeding Scream on Halloween. Remember who it was? It was August. I remember seeing him a few desks from me, and then I remembered not seeing him again. Oh man, it was August. All of this hit me in science class while the teacher was talking. Oh man! I'd been talking to Julian about August. Oh man! Now I understood. It was so mean. I don't even know why, but I don't even sure what I said, but oh, it was bad. I remember it was bad. It was only a minute or two. It's just that I knew Julian and everybody thought it was so weird for me hanging out with August all the time, and I felt stupid, and I don't know why I said that stuff. Ooh, it was just going along and I was stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh God. He was supposed to come as Boba Fett. I never would have said that stuff in front of Boba Fett, but he was there, that bleeding scream, sitting in the desk looking over at us. That long white face with that fake blood squirting and the mouth open like the ghoul was crying. It was him, and I felt like I was going to puke. I didn't hear a word of what Miss Rubin was saying after that. Blah, 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 science fair, blah, 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 partners, blah, blah, blah. It was like all the grown-ups talking Charlie Brown, like someone was underwater. Wah, 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 wah. Then all of a sudden, Miss Rubin started pointing at kids in the class. Reed, Tristan, Maya, Max, Charlotte, Zima, August, and Jack. She pointed at us. Miles and Amos, Julian and Henry, Savannah, and... I didn't hear the rest. Huh? I said. The bell rang. Don't forget to get together with your partner and choose a project from the list, guys. Miss Rubin, as everyone said Miss Rubin, as everyone started to take off. I looked at August. He had already put his backpack on and was practically out the door. I must have had this stupid look on my face because Julian came over. Looks like you and your best bud are partners. He was smirking when he said this, and I hated him so much then. Hello, to Jack Will, he said, and he didn't answer me. Shut up, Julian. I was putting my loose leaf binder away in my backpack and just wanted him to get away from me. You must be bummed you got stuck with him, he said. You should tell Miss Rubin you want to switch partners. I bet she'd let you. No, she won't, I said. Ask her. I don't want to. Miss Rubin, Julian said, turning around and raising his hand at the same time. Miss Rubin was erasing the chalkboard at the front of the room. She turned when she heard her name. No, Julian, I whispered. What is it, boys? She said impatiently. Could we switch partners if we want to? Me and Jack have this science fair idea that we want to do together. Well, I guess we could arrange that, she started to say. No, it's okay, Miss Rubin, I said quickly. I headed out the door. Bye. Julian ran after me. Why'd you do that? He said. We could have been partners, and you don't have to be friends with that freak if you don't want to, you know. And that's when I punched him. Right in the mouth. Sometimes you just can't explain, and you don't even try. You don't know where to start. All your sentences would jumble together like a giant knot if you opened your mouth. Any words you use would come out wrong. Jack, this is very serious, Mr. Tushman was saying. I was in his office, sitting in a chair across from his desk, looking at a picture of a pumpkin on the wall beside him. Kids get expelled for this kind of thing, Jack. You know you're a good kid, and I know you don't want that to happen, but you have to explain yourself. This is not like you, Jack, said Mom. She had come from work as soon as they'd called her, and I could tell she was going back and forth from being really mad and really surprised. I thought you and Julian were friends, said Mr. Tushman. We're not friends, I said. My arms were crossed in front of me. But to punch someone in the mouth, said Mom, her voice raised. I mean, what were you thinking? She looked at Mr. Tushman. Honestly, he's never hit anyone before. He's just not like that. Julian's mouth is bleeding, Jack, said Mr. Tushman. You knocked out a tooth. Did you know that? It was a baby tooth, I said. Jack, said Mom, raising her voice. That's what Nurse Molly said. You're missing the point, said Mom. I just want to know why, said Mr. Tushman, raising his shoulder. It'll just make things worse, I sighed. Just tell me, Jack. I shrugged. I didn't want to say anything. I just couldn't. If I told him that Julian had called August a freak, then he'd go talk to Julian about it, and Julian would tell him how I badmouthed August too, and then everyone would find out about it. Jack, said Mom. I started to cry. I'm sorry. Mr. Tushman raised his eyebrows and nodded, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he kind of blew into his hands like you do when your hands are cold. Jack, he said, I don't really know what to say here. I mean, you punched a kid. We have rules about things like that, you know. Automatic expulsion. And I know you're not trying to explain, and now you're not even trying to explain yourself? I was crying a lot by now. And the second Mom put her arms around me, I started to bawl. Let's, said Mr. Tushman, taking his glasses off to clean them. Let's do this, Jack. We're out for winter break, as of next week anyway. How about you stay home for the rest of the week? Then after winter break, you'll come back, and everything will be fresh and new. clean slate, so to speak. But am I being suspended? I sniffled. Well, technically, yes, but only for a couple of days. And I'll tell you what, while you're at home, you take time to think about what happened. And if you want to write an explanation of what happened and a letter to Julian apologizing, then we won't put any of this on your permanent record, okay? Go home, talk about it with your mom and dad. Maybe in the morning, you'll figure it all out a little bit more. Does that sound like a good plan? Sounds like a good plan, Mr. Tushman, said Mom, nodding. Thank you. Everything's going to be okay, Mr. Tushman said, walking over to the door, which was closed. I know you're a nice kid, Jack. And I know that sometimes even nice kids do dumb things, right? He opened the door. Thank you for being so understanding, said Mom, shaking his hand. No problem. He leaned over and he told her something quietly that I couldn't hear. I know. Thank you, said Mom, nodding. So, kiddo, he said to me, putting his hands on my shoulder, think about what you've done, okay? Have a great holiday. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. I wiped my nose with my sleeve, and I started walking out the door. Say thank you, Mr. Tushman, said Mom, tapping my shoulder. I stopped and turned. I couldn't look at him. Thank you, Mr. Tushman, I said. Bye, Jack. I walked out the door. Weirdly enough, when we got back home, Mom brought in the mail, and there was holiday cards from both Julian's family and August's family. Julian's holiday card was a picture of Julian wearing a tie, looking like he was about to go to the opera or something. And August's holiday card was an old dog wearing reindeer antlers and a red nose and red booties. There was a cartoon bubble over the dog's head that said, ho, 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 on the inside of the card, and it read, to the Will family, peace on earth, love Nate, Isabel, Olivia, August, and Daisy. Cute card, huh? I said to Mom, who was hardly said a word. That must be their dog, I said. Do you want to tell me what's going on inside your head? I bet they put a picture of their dog on their card every year. She took the card from my hand. You're very lucky, Jack. But there's so much you take for granted. I know, I said. I heard Julian's mom actually photoshopped August's face out of the class picture when she got it. She gave copies to a couple of the other moms. That's awful, said Mom. People are they're just not always so great. I know. Is that why you hit Julian? No. And then I told her why I punched Julian. And I told her that August was my ex-best friend now. And I told her about Halloween. Okay, the next part of the book is all done in, hold on one second. The next part of the book is all done. Can I make it? Yeah. It's like text messages, okay? And emails. So it's called, the chapter is Letters, Emails, Facebooks, and Texts. So, December 18th. Dear Mr. Tushman, I am very, very sorry for punching Julian. It was very, very wrong for me to do that. I am writing a letter to him, too. It's okay. I'd really rather not tell you why I did it, because it really doesn't matter anyway right now. Also, I would rather not make Julian get in trouble for having said something he should have not said. Very sincerely, Jack Will. December 18th. Dear Julian, I am very, very sorry for hitting you. It was wrong of me. I hope you're okay. I hope your grown-up tooth grows in fast. Mine always do. Sincerely, Jack Will. That's his apology. December 26th. Dear Jack, thank you so much for your letter. One thing I've learned over being a middle school director for 20 years, there's almost always two sides to every story. Although I don't know the details, I have an inkling about what may have sparked the confrontation with Julian. While nothing justifies striking another student, ever, I also know good friends are sometimes worth defending. This has been a tough year for a lot of students. As the first year of middle school usually is, keep up the good work and keep being a fine boy. The fine boy we know you are. All the best, Lawrence Tushman, middle school director. Okay. Now we have a note to Mr. Tushman from Julian's mom, Melissa Albans. And it is also to, and then it's CC, so that means it's copied to John Will and Amanda Will. And so John and Amanda are Jack's parents. Dear Mr. Tishman, I spoke with Amanda and John Will yesterday, and they expressed their regret at Jack having punched our son Julian in the mouth. I am writing to let you know that my husband and I support your decision in allowing Jack to return to Beecher Prep after a 2-day suspension, although I think hitting a child would be valid grounds for expulsion in other schools. I agree that such extreme measures aren't warranted here. We have known the Will family since our boys were in kindergarten and are confident that every measure will be taken to ensure this doesn't happen again. To that end, I wonder if Jack's unexpected violent behavior might have been the result of too much pressure being placed upon this young shoulders. I am speaking specifically of the new child with special needs, who both Jack and Julian were asked to befriend. In retrospect, and now having seen the child in question at various school functions and in the class picture, I think it may have been too much to ask of our children to be able to process all that. Certainly, when Julian mentioned he was having a hard time befriending the boy, we told him he was off the hook in that regard. We think the transition to middle school is hard enough without having to be placed greater burdens or hardships on these young, impressionable minds. I should also mention that as a member of the school board, I was a little disturbed that more consideration was not given during the child's application process to the fact that Beecher Prep is not an inclusion school. There are many parents, myself included, who question the decision to let this child into our school at all. At the very least, I am somewhat troubled that this child was not held to the same stringent application standards, i.e. an interview, that the rest of our incoming middle school students were. Best, Melissa Pepper Evans. So she's saying that August shouldn't be in the school at all. Okay, so here is a note back to Miss Albans, Julian's mother, from Mr. Tishman. Dear Miss Albans, thank you for your email outlining your concerns. Were I not convinced that Jack Will is extremely sorry for his actions, and were I not confident that he would not repeat those actions, rest assured I would not allow him back at Beecher Prep. As for your concerns regarding our new student August, please note that he does not have any special needs. He is neither disabled, handicapped, nor developmentally delayed in any way. So there was no reason to assume anyone would have to take issue with his admittance to Beecher Prep, whether it is an inclusion school or not. In terms of the application process, the administrative director and I both felt it within our right to hold an interview off-site at August's home for the reasons that were obvious. We felt that this slight break in protocol was warranted, but in no way prejudiced in any way or another. To the application review, August is an extremely good student and has secured the friendship of some truly exceptional young children, including Jack Will. At the beginning of the school year, when I enlisted certain children to be a welcoming committee to August, I did so as a way of easing his transition into the school environment. I did not think asking these children to be especially kind to a new student would place any extra burdens or hardships on them. In fact, I thought it would teach them a thing or two about empathy and friendship and loyalty. As it turns out, Jack Will didn't need to learn any of these virtues. He already had them in abundance. Thank you for reaching out and being in touch. Sincerely, Lawrence Tushman. Now, here is a letter to Julian's mother from John Will, so Jack's dad. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for being so understanding about this incident with Jack. He is, as you know, extremely sorry for his actions, and I hope you do accept our offer to pay for Julian's dental bills. We are very touched by your concern regarding Jack's friendship with August. Please know that we have asked Jack if he felt any undue pressure about any of this, and the answer was absolutely no. He enjoys August's company and feels that he has made a good friend. Hope you have a happy new year. John and Amanda Will. Hi, August. Jackalope Will wants to be your friend on Facebook. from Jackalope Will. So, Jack sending August a Facebook message. To Augie Doggy. So, August from Jack Will. Here's his Facebook message. Hey, August, it's me, Jack Will. I noticed I'm not on your friends list anymore. Hope you friend me again, because I'm really sorry. I just want to say that. Sorry. I know why you're mad at me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that stuff. I was stupid. I hope you can forgive me. From August to Jack. Got your message. You know why I'm mad at you? Did Summer tell you? From Jack. She told me Bleeding Scream is a hint. I didn't get it at first, but then I remembered seeing Bleeding Scream in homeroom on Halloween. I didn't know it was you. I thought you were coming as Boba Fett. From August. I changed my mind last minute. Did you really punch Julian? From Jack. Yeah, I punched and knocked his tooth back. A baby tooth. From August. Why'd you punch him? From Jack. I don't know. From August. Liar. I bet he said something about me, right? From Jack. He's a jerk. But I was a jerk too. Really, really sorry for what I said, dude. Okay, can we be friends again? From August. Okay. From Jack. Awesome. From August. But tell me the truth, okay? Would you really want to kill yourself if you were me? From Jack. No, I swear on my life, dude. I would want to kill myself if I were Julian. Winky face smile. From August. LOL. Yeah, dude, we're friends again. All right. So we're going to stop there. Tomorrow we will start back on page 168. And just know that I love and miss you, and we'll keep working with this. All right. Bye, guys.